Hello, I'm David, and this is a brand new Giant Revolt Advanced Pro, launched last year. Yeah, it took me a while to get my hands on it, but hopefully the wait was worth it. And this bike right here is probably the best value gravel bike in the UK right now. And you get carbon everything: the handlebar, frame, fork, wheels, and SRAM wireless gearing. It's lightweight, it's fast, comfort is great, big tyre clearance, it looks amazing. It's great for racing and also for bike packing with all the mounts you might need for bags and extra luggage. So it does look like the perfect gravel bike for anybody in the market for one right now, whatever those demands of the bike might be. But yeah, there's always a but. The Revolt has been around for over 10 years now, and it's always been an easy bike for me to recommend, and a bike I would happily own. I have reviewed several bikes from the Revolt range over the years here on Just Ride Bikes, and they've always been well received, and people buying the bikes have been generally very happy with them indeed. But these days the goalposts for gravel have moved, and they are constantly moving. Aero and racing at one end and big mountain bike tyres at the other end. So the question is, does the Revolt still remain an easy bike to recommend, to give a thumbs up to? Well, by the end of today's review, we'll hopefully know the answer. This then is a 4th generation Revolt, and visually, yeah, it looks the same as the previous one and the one before that, which is no bad thing. It's like the Volkswagen Golf, looking the same but slightly different and improved with every new generation, and I kind of like that. But there are a few new updates which make it more modern, but are they enough? So firstly, we now have internal routing, but it's not fully internal. The brake hoses are external from the handlebar and the stem and pop inside a frame just below the stem there. So that means you have the clean looks of internal routing, and it is indeed very clean, but the flexibility to change the handlebar and stem as you see fit, as you need. And it's a 2-piece setup, so you're not locked into a 1-piece carbon affair where it's too long, too short, too wide or narrow. You can customize it how you want. The best of both worlds, you might say. And then we have another increasingly common feature is down tube storage. I like it personally. Some people hate it. You can't beat the simplicity of a saddlebag, but it gets covered in mud from the back wheel. And having all your stuff stashed inside a neoprene bag which doesn't rattle is pretty cool. It's something I found myself getting used to very easily indeed. One thing that has not changed is tyre clearance. The new bike has, as with the old bike, space for up to 53mm wide tyres in the longest dropout setting. And that's still more than the Envy Mog, the Villa Rave I recently reviewed, Cervelo Espero, the Canyon Grail, and a host of other modern bikes. But is it still enough? Well, that depends. The likes of the Allied Able and the Argon 18 Dark Matter are up to 57. So definitely at the pointy end of the wide tyre debate. But for most people, likely enough. And one key feature of the bike which remains from the old bike are the adjustable flip chips in the rear dropouts. So in the longest setting, you get a long wheelbase for more relaxed handling and that maximum tyre clearance. And in the shorter setting, a shorter wheelbase, so it's more nimble and agile, and tyre clearance decreases to 42. But the trade-off for that customization of the wheelbase and tyre clearance is the fact there is no UDH dropout on this bike. And UDH, as you may know, is a dropout standard brought about by SRAM, which serves two purposes. The first one, and quite smart, is a universal derailleur hanger that you can get for any frame anywhere in the world, hopefully. And the other, it allows their new Explore 1x13 rear derailleur to mount directly to the frame for a more robust and crash-proof interface. But the new Revolt can't be spec'd with SRAM Explore, so you're stuck with older SRAM or Shimano GRX. So it's definitely something worth bearing in mind if you are considering the Revolt, based on what you want from the bike now and in the future. Personally, I think Giant should have gone to UDH and dropped the flip chip. The flip chip is a nice idea, but I don't think, honestly, that most people use it. Put in the longest setting, the max tire clearance setting, and use that all the time. So that, I think personally, yeah, I think UDH would be a smarter move, and we could have the new Explore on here, and it's future-proofed against any group set coming down the line in the future from Shimano or Campag, perhaps. Don't get me wrong, SRAM Force 2x is still an excellent group set. It's wireless, the gearing works well for fast gravel and road use, up and down hills, but I have to admit the ergonomics of the older hoods don't match the improvements of SRAM's latest generation group sets. Right, let's talk money, and the Revolt range starts from £1,200 and tops out at £5,000 for the bike I'm testing here. And it is great value for money compared to what other brands offer you. I'm not saying it's cheap, it's not, but other companies won't offer you the carbon wheels and the mid-range group set on offer here. Specialized, for example, with a Crux, an excellent bike, will only offer you a SRAM rival group set and aluminium wheels, which seems a bit measly compared to what Giant can offer. Looking around at other brands, a Canyon Grail is less money, currently on sale with SRAM Force Explore 1x13, but the bike doesn't have the same tire clearance of the Revolt or the same versatility away from racing, and there's no direct grizzle comparison at its price point. Another big mainstream brand is Trek, and their Checkpoint does offer a carbon frame with carbon wheels and a SRAM Force Explore 1x13 group set for the same money, but there's no carbon fibre handlebar, and somehow it's over 1 kilogram heavier. The choice of 2x is interesting, we'll talk about that later. I'm on the 1x sort of bandwagon really, shall we say, but 2x still makes sense, and we're seeing in the Gravel World Championships and over in the US with the pros, the racing, that 2x is still very much a popular choice. And if you are buying a bike like this to straddle road and gravel, all road perhaps, then 2x does have benefits in terms of gear, cadence, steps, that smoother transition up the cassette compared to 1x, which can be a bit jumpier. So if you are looking for a gravel bike to be a good road bike, then this current build here is a good choice, a good contender. But how does that specification on paper actually translate into riding performance? Well, I'll get changed, we'll go for a spin and find out right after this message from today's sponsor, Insta360. And this is the X5, my favorite camera by far. It's a 360 camera with 2 lenses on the front and back that gives a full immersive 360 degrees of filming action, which means you can mount it to handlebars, which I do all the time, or on your helmet, on your chest cam, on a selfie stick, and it means you don't have to worry about the angle of the camera when you're filming because it captures everything in your reframe later in the app available on a smartphone or desktop studio. It really is very easy and just gives you more creative freedom to film whatever you might be doing, which for me is bike rides and reviews. So a very versatile bit of kit, and it shoots in high quality 8K as well. You've got a nighttime mode for shooting in low light, so great when it's winter here in the UK. It lasts all day with a battery in endurance mode very easily, and the navigation through the menus is a breeze. Really simple to use, don't need to read the manual or anything like that, just fire it up and off you go. And the ecosystem for Insta360 with the smartphone app just makes getting videos from here to your social media, to YouTube, wherever the end goal might be, a breeze. If you're a pro, you can edit the videos manually or use AI to give you a really cool edit with transitions, titles, and music too. So a very powerful bit of kit, just gives killer results when you're filming bike rides, races, adventures. And yeah, I'm a big fan. And not just saying that because they sponsor today's video and the channel as well. Right, let's find out how the Giant Revolt rides and performs. So here we are then, riding the Giant Revolt on my local gravel loops and routes in the not so sunny Cotswolds. And the first impressions are that this new bike feels just like the old one and the one before it, which is no bad thing. It's fast, it's sure-footed, comfort is good, but even now it's still easy to recommend like it always has been for the last 10 years. Does a lot of things right and doesn't get many things wrong at all. And it's definitely a fast bike. The weight is low and the stiffness is high. You've got the carbon wheels, definitely giving the bike a high level of responsiveness compared to other bikes at the same price point which don't have carbon wheels. The carbon wheels really contribute very well to the ride quality. It's so fast and so responsive. When you get on the gas, it really does go. So they're really good bike for racing, putting a number to your jersey or wrapping around a head tube. But equally, thanks to the comfort, it's fantastic for just adventuring, exploring and bike packing. So still a versatile bike for everything from racing to not racing, as it always has been. So the comfort of the new Giant Revolt is, as has always been the case, extremely good. And that despite only having a 40mm wide tyre, which some might consider, myself included, is narrow by today's standards. But this bike shows that wide tyres aren't the only route to a smooth, comfy ride, because it's still one of the smoothest gravel bikes I've ever tried. Not as smooth as a Specialized Diverge, which is definitely the smoothest in the class, thanks to a Future Shock and a bendy seat post, but with the extra complexity which some people don't want. It's smoother than my NV Mog, it's smoother than that video Rave, and that Rave is a good example of a bike that required big tyres. The 50mm tyres were necessary to give a smooth ride that bike did show. But this bike with 40mm wide tyres and the clever flexi carbon handlebar and the bendy seat post with that shape there, which really does flex between your legs, does give a smooth ride than bikes that need big tyres to give a smooth ride. And of course, naturally, I put some big tyres on the bike. Put a 50mm Michelin Power Gravel on here, and as you might imagine, the comfort went through the roof. Really very smooth indeed. And probably the closest bike is the 51 Assassin I use at Badlands, or the Canyon Grizzle. But I haven't tried a new Grizzle without a suspension fork on yet, so difficult to make that direct comparison. But the previous generation Grizzle was for me a bike that went toe to toe with the Revolt, not just in performance but also on price and what you get for your money too. And riding a bike in its current build with a 40mm wide tyre with the SRAM 2x gearing is a perfect gravel stroke all-road bike along country lanes and down your local roads, and then onto smooth, light to medium gravel. Just covers ground so well, so quick everywhere. And on the road, you can cruise along at 20 miles per hour. Yeah, some road noise from the tyres, but not slow, but not draggy, and you have the extra comfort. It's a really good setup. The only time the tyre size is an issue is if you're riding really chunky, steep, sort of tame mountain bike trails, as I like to call them, where a bigger tyre is definitely a benefit and these become a small handicap. So yeah, tyre size is interesting right now, it's an interesting debate, but this bike shows that big tyres aren't the only path to a smooth ride. Right, some likes and dislikes before I wrap up today's review of the Giant Revolt. And firstly, I do like the way it looks. I think it's a good looking bike, always has been and still is. Sort of chunky, sculptured head tube and a big fat sort of square profile down tube. And I like the colour. I think the paint finish is fantastic and a silver logo, so really nice looking bike. And then I like the details, like the handlebar. Yes, it's internal, but not fully. So you can, if you want, swap the handlebar for something else, but the handlebar on here is a nice shape. It's carbon fibre, so high quality at its price point. They're DFU technology, so the profile is designed to give comfort. I like the way, as you can see right there, it sweeps back to give a shorter reach, but the flare and the drops isn't that extreme, which I don't mind, but could perhaps be a bit more flared. I like the short stem, which combined with the long reach of the bike too. And the seat post really does work extremely well. You see how they really flatten that profile there, and it does flex between you. You can see it, you can feel it. Does work very well. Down tube storage now as well, which works, yeah, works just fine. Like that, no issues. And you've got your neoprene bag inside, so nothing rattles or tools and stuff in there. Oh, a bit tricky one-handed though. It's a two-handed job. No sniggering at the back. So that's cool. Loads of mounts for cargo, bash guard down there, fit mud guard, fenders if you want, top tube mounts of course, and so lots of like. Price, specification, all good. A few dislikes, there aren't many really. I guess there have been issues on various forums about cracking around here, but this one hasn't, and the seat post clamp is inside there, but it's well covered, but water can get in a little bit. So yeah, it's that. But really the biggest one is down here. The flip chip versus the lack of UDH. And I think that could be the biggest issue facing this bike. The Giant Revolt is still a good gravel bike. It always has been. This new version doesn't do anything groundbreaking, but has some smart updates. However, it is the lack of a UDH dropout that could be a deal breaker for some. And if you own a current Revolt, there's not really much here to tempt you to buy a new version, unless you really want to have internal routing and down tube storage. But UDH aside, there's still a lot to like here. The big tyre clearance, the speed, the low weight, the comfort the bike offers, the versatility for bike packing and racing, and of course, the fantastic value for money compared to other brands that don't offer the same level of specification as on offer here. So, in summary, the Giant Revolt remains an easy bike to recommend for most people buying a gravel bike today. So hopefully a review of the bike has been helpful. Got any questions, comments, put them down below. And if you want to see some other gravel bikes definitely worth considering, then watch the video right up here. And don't forget to grab yourself a brand new Insta360 X5 camera using the link down below in the description of today's video to also shoot amazing epic footage from any bike ride.